Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to the Operation Heal 100 Hearts channel where we do what? Focus on healing, humor, and hot mother freaking topics. Ladies and gentlemen, please go hit the thumbs up on the video. Go hit the like on the video. Go hit the thumbs up. That's all I'm asking for the time being. Let's get into this Dear Deja letter. Dear Deja, I need some help. My mom has two daughters, my sister and I. We're 5 years apart, her younger than me, and we have different dads. My dad and my mom met when they were teenagers, and according to my mom, my dad was obsessed with her from day one. But obsessed quickly turned to possessed, and before you know it, my father was going upside my mother's head on a regular basis. That domestic violence relationship lasted until my sister's dad came and, according to my mom, rescued her. My mom and sister's dad, according to my mom, fell in love immediately, and not too long after they conceived their love child, which would be my little sister. While I love my sister, our relationship has always been rocky. Her father ended up getting murdered, and her and my mom have been heartbroken ever since. I don't know if it's a bereavement bubble or what they live in, but I'm definitely on the outside. You can tell my sister is the apple of my mother's eye. I don't know if it's because my sister's dad is dead or if it's because my father used to beat her ass. Either way, my mother is hell bent on keeping a wedge between my sister and I. It's been times I've actually overheard my mother telling my sister she's not going to be nothing like me, she's going to be better. And that's exactly how my sister acts. Whenever I try to address these issues with my sister and I, whenever I try to address these issues, my sister and I get into it and my mother takes her side. I know it's my mother and sister, but to be honest, I'm ready to disconnect from the both of them, move somewhere far, and never speak to either one of them again. Am I being too dramatic or do I need to disconnect from these people? Let me know what you think. Signed, I don't know how to feel about being the third wheel. Wow. It's so crazy. I am an older sister of a younger sister. Me and my sister are 13 years apart. And I know that's a huge age difference in comparison to you guys, 5 years. And I honestly can't relate because we get along very, very well. Shout out, hey, Kalila girl. Very, very well. So I can't relate. Let me first say this, right? I'm sorry that you're growing through this because I can't imagine being in an awkward situation with my mom and my sister, especially when it sounds like that's really who you have. Are you still connected to your dad? I don't know. We will be talking about that in the Healing Heart session. Anywho, um, number one on the list, I don't ever want to discount your feelings, right? So, or rather discard your feelings, right? Um, they're valid. They're valid. Whether I agree or not, whether your mother or sister agrees or not, your feelings are valid. So will I call you dramatic? I don't know if I will call you dramatic regarding your feelings. Now, what I do understand you also asking is, am I being too dramatic by wanting to get away from these people? That depends on how you feel. That depends on how you feel, my dear. That depends on how you feel. I am a firm believer in family, right? But that's because, for the most part, I get treated very good by my family. I don't know what I would feel if I didn't have the best relationship with them, which is why I don't want to say to you, oh, that's your mother, that's your sister, stick around, right? Because it seems like it's a lot of toxicity between the three of you, and because I can't relate to that, I don't want to tell you what you should be doing. I don't want to tell anybody how they should be living their life. I always want to present options and you maneuver and shake from there, right? So, let's start from the top. The situation between you and mom, right? It seems like there is a disconnect But I would be asking you in an Operation Hill 100 Heart session, has that been always as far back as you can remember? Or can you remember when it started, right? Because then we will be talking about what was life like before that disconnect, if you could remember when the starting point was. What was life like before you felt her disconnect from you? Because while I do believe that all parents love their children, I also believe that not all parents know how to love and take care of their children. So I don't doubt that she loves you, you're her daughter. But somewhere along the lines, there is a disconnect. And I would be wondering when that started, if you could remember, or has it always been? And if the disconnect has always been, then that may not have anything to do with your dad, because at one point they were together. But if it does have something to do with your dad, then that's the time for you guys, before you even get to your sister, you guys need to have an intense conversation. Because at the end of the day, what your dad and your mother shared is between your dad and your mother. What you and your mother share is between you and your mother, and what you and your dad share is between you and your dad. Those relationships don't have to overlap or intertwine, right? I have siblings now that will tell you something about one of our parents, and another sibling will disagree. And it's not because either sibling is right or wrong, it's their own experience. So the way she experienced your dad and the things she went through with your dad sounds like it's unfortunate from what you described, but it's also her experience with him. What does that have to do with you? So I think trying to have the conversation of, I feel like I'm not liked here, I'm not wanted here, and I'm not happy here. And I want to share that with you, because if you don't know, I want to make you aware. And if you do know and you're conscious of it, I want to know why. Why am I being made to feel like I don't belong here and I'm not liked here, when I'm the same way she's your daughter, I'm your daughter as well. So I think before we even get into what's going on with her and your sister, you need to get into it. You need to get into a conversation with her about what's going on between you and her. And if you are not the person carrying the animosity, the anger, or the weird feelings towards her, you're really receiving them from her, then you have to ask her, what's going on? What is going on? And I always say that people have to come with the facts, because a lot of times, folks will make it seem like that's not happening and they don't remember that. But you did share in a letter, you said that it was even a time that you overheard her saying something directly to your sister in regards to you that wasn't positive. I think you should be able to share that with her, because all of these things will help you get answers. What is going on? What's the issue with me? What have I done? Because the same way that you treat your other daughter, I would like to be treated with that same love and respect as well. And that may open up the floodgates for her to share, listen, this is not about your dad. Or for her to say, listen, I didn't even know I didn't even know I was doing that. Right? And then, you have some parents, and I want to be fair to you, mommy, and say this because this is something that you have to be prepared for. You have some parents that will try to act as though that's not taking place, even when you present facts. I'm not, that's all you. I'm not doing that. That's not how I feel. That's not the thing. Okay, because in those moments, I'm making you aware of the way you're making me feel. And you're telling me that either A, I don't feel that way, or B, that's not your intention. So let's leave the intentions behind and just speak about the actions. If your intention was not to hurt my feelings or to make me feel like an outsider, why were you saying to my sister that she's going to be nothing like me? What does that mean? Right? So I think you and Mama Love need to come to the round table and have some open discussion, right? Sometimes when we're in our feelings, it's hard for us to maintain a respect level. And I want you to be able to correspond with your mom respectfully. I really, really do. Because the moment that the disrespect begins, the yelling, the screaming, the cursing, the accusing, the lying, once all of those things start taking place within the situation, then you lose the context of the conversation. And now it's more about everybody's feelings. And everybody is standing 10 toes down on what they feel. So therefore, you never get to come to a middle ground. So we want to be able to present this as respectful as possible, but you also want to be able to listen. Because sometimes I know for us as women, when you're not receiving what you want to hear, you stop listening, right? And even when you are still listening, it's only to respond. So it's like, bitch, go ahead so I can bop you in your head with the next one. Go ahead so I can fling that other part on you. So go ahead so I can let you know. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, all of the context of the conversation goes out the window. We don't want to lose that because that's what's important. That's what's important. That's what's going to help you be able to move forward or move apart from your family, right? So you have to be open to listening. You have to be open to keeping in mind that you and your mom may be two totally opposite people. That's okay. That's okay. It's okay to be different from another person. But as long as you guys respect each other's boundaries and what makes one different from the other, you guys should be able to coexist. So while she might not have the best relationship with you because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is that something that she can learn to cope with so you can have the best relationship, right? So like I'll give an example. I know some women, right, who can be nasty, right? Blood relatives of mine can be nasty, right? I am a words hurt kind of person. So when you say certain things to me, they pierce me harder than a physical blow, right? I would rather you hit me than to say certain things to me because most times, depending on how harsh it is, you won't be able to recover from them. So, I know that, but I also know that these people are family to me. So because of that, I found a way to not have to engage in that part of them, but to still be able to be family and kin to them, if that makes sense. So I don't engage in any verbal sparring with them. I don't try to ignite them. I don't push their buttons because I know that they can say some hurtful things. And for me, I don't want the hurtful thing to get said and now in my mind I have reconciled with disconnecting from them. Because at the end of the day, I want to be connected to my family. So I'm wondering, is there a place for you and Mama Love to go where you both can understand, listen, we're different from each other in this regard and so on and so forth, but I can still be in communication with you and engage with you as my family. It just has to look a particular way, right? That's for you and Mama Love, right? I think once you and Mama Love could get on the same page, it can kind of help encourage you and your sister to get on the same page, because what it sounds like you were saying in your letter was that your mother is the reason why y'all are off track. So she can also be the reason why y'all get back on track. But I think that Sissy Pooh needs to see that mom loves you and respects you and cares about you and wants you around and wants you to feel like you belong. Because then that would encourage the sister to say, okay, this is what we doing, got it, right? Now, with your sister, with you guys being 5 years apart, that's not a lot of time, so you're both pretty much, what I'm guessing, adults at the same damn time. I think you should flat out have a conversation with her. And in having that conversation, you can, before you even share what you feel from her, you can ask her what she feels towards you. Because once again, they may not even be her own feelings. They may be Mama Love's. So now separating her from Mama Love and saying, what do you feel, right? And getting that from her. Because she may be able to tell you that, either I'm not happy with you about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or I'm happy with you and I love you, but I know how mommy feels. You know what I'm saying? But you'll never know if you don't get the opportunity to separate her from Mama Love and have your own conversations. What's up? What's up? I'm your sister and I love you. Talk to me. Because you did not one time in a letter make it seem like, oh, me, like you know how some people will say, well, me and my sister's oil and vinegar. We don't get along because we argued every day because she's dirty or she has a big mouth or whatever the case may be. You didn't give any examples about why y'all don't get along other than you feel like it's your mom's doing. So that means that no concrete situation took place for you guys to even harp on to not get along. So that's why I said in going to have the conversation with her, you ask her, hey, what's up? And this is not about mommy. This is not about what went on with my father and mommy. This is not about your dad. This is not about you, mommy and your dad. This is about me and you. What's up? And you allow her the space to share what she feels. And then once she gets out, well, I feel so on and so forth, then you kind of know how to maneuver because it's like, oh, okay. Well, number one, some of those things you probably weren't even aware of. So you like, oh shit, I didn't know you felt that way. You know? And there may be some things that either you can work on and fix, or maybe some things that you honestly didn't mean. You know what I'm saying? It could be a number of things, right? Then you allow her to give you the floor for you to say what you feel. And you have to be very honest. You have to be very honest because what you ladies are trying to do is move forward. And if you leave things out and they linger in the air because they might seem like small things, in the future they will resurface as big things. So put it all out there right now. What I want people to understand in conversations is that everybody's feelings matter. Right? That's one. Let me say that. Everybody's feelings matter, but, and this is probably the hardest thing for people to understand sometimes, including self. Feelings are not facts. Let me run that back again for the people in the back who did not hear me. Right? Two things in conversation. Everybody's feelings matter, but feelings are not facts. Let me run that back again. In conversations, everybody's feelings matter. However, feelings are not facts. That's a twofold conversation, right? So, in the conversation between A and B, I could say to A, listen, when we were having this discussion, you were yelling, you were screaming, you were in my face, and that hurt my feelings because I would never yell and scream and get in your face. The other person can say, yes, I was yelling and screaming and getting in your face, but that's because your tone was very threatening and very disrespectful. That's how A feel, that's how B feel, right? The fact of the matter is, though, you can't tell me that I was trying to fight you because of my tone. You can't tell me that I hate you and never liked you because I got in your face. Because at the end of the day, even though you felt what you felt and I felt what I felt, those feelings are not facts. And the fact of the matter is I didn't put my hands on you. So you cannot tell me that I wanted to fight you. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that when you and your sister talk, you can say, go, listen, lay it out bare, and I'm going to lay it out bare. And then we can tell the truth about, intention, tone, mannerisms, behavior, all of that. But at the end of the day, in order for us to move forward, we need to really deal in facts. And the fact of the matter is what? Either you like me or you don't. Either you want to build a relationship or you don't. Either you see a future with us being closer or you don't. But we need to know what the facts are. Right? So with that being said, my dear, I think these have to be separate conversations. And then I think after you have them separately, I think you three should come together and all have the conversations. And you don't have to rehash what you said, independently to the other two. This is just pretty much a summary of what we are going to do moving forward if you continue to stay connected to these people. If you're making a choice to say, listen, I'm still going to connect with these people and I still consider them my mom and my sister and I love them both dearly, then we have to talk about what the future looks like. And what the future looks like is not dwelling on the past and trying to change everything in the past and blaming me for the past. No, no. So if you dated my dad and my dad was physically abusive to you in the past, that has nothing to do with me. Here I am as your flesh and blood and your child, and I want to move forward for the future with me and you. Whatever you do with my dad is between you and my dad and the past. It has nothing to do with me. Same thing with your sister. I love you, I care about you, and I want to move forward in the future. I don't want to hear about how I was acting or you were acting in the past. That's dead and gone. We're trying to build and move forward for the future. Now, let me tell you something that I see people do when it comes down to this whole the past situations, right? Do not agree to move forward with a person if you're going to continue your behaviors from what? The past. Okay? So that's just like when you're in a relationship with a person, right? And that person lies to you. And you found out that they lied, right? And you're upset and you're crying and you're sad. Oh my God, I can't believe you would lie to me. I thought you would always tell me the truth. I thought you would love my life, whatever, right? Let's just say that happens. And then the person says, well, I'm sorry. I want to work it out. I didn't mean to lie. I didn't know. I wasn't clear. You didn't ask the question properly. I didn't hear you the right way. I was trying to protect your feelings. You know the shit people say, right? If you decide to move forward with that person, you have to make it clear to that person that I'm leaving the past in the past, but you cannot continue with those behaviors in the present or the future. So if you're asking me to move forward and get past the fact that you lied, you cannot continue lying after this point. Right? So I'm saying that because I think all three of you have to make that conscious decision to move forward and leave the past in the past and those behaviors as well. So Mama Love, you can't be here saying, oh, I love my girls. I want my girls to be close. I want to be close to my girls. But then still going and putting a wedge in between the two girls with your actions and your behaviors. Because that does not show that you want to move forward. That shows that you're doing what? Operating from where? The past. The past is that is thinking if you plan on moving forward to have a future. And you all have to agree on that. Now, speaking of you disconnecting or being dramatic. Once again, your feelings matter. So I don't want to say you're being dramatic about how you feel. But what I will say is this. If you're making a decision to say that I'm going to disrespect, you hear me? Disconnect from my mom and my sister, you have to be 100% sure that that's what you want to do. Because like I said to you earlier about the women I know that can be nasty and say some things, you may not be able to come back from that. That can be a very permanent decision if that's the choice you make. So if you're going to make that choice, you have to be very clear on that's what you want to do because it's a possibility that you may not be able to come back. So if you decide to cut ties with your sister and your mother and move wherever you're going and say, I'm done with it, and then in 5 years when you bringing a child into the world, you have a change of heart and you want to go now and let little baby Brittany get to know her auntie and her granny, and they're looking at you like, I don't give a fuck about you or baby Brittany. You and that baby can go to hell because that's where you've been for all this time. That's the choice that you made. So if you're saying that that's what you want to do, just be 100% clear because you don't always get to come back from stuff. Hopefully, being optimistic, I would anticipate that you could. But no one can say that for sure. And you don't want to ever make a choice that you have to live with, that you don't ever want to make a choice that forces you to live with regrets. It's up to you, sweetie. So, in any event, oh my God, I hope I was able to help. This sounds like a really intense situation. I hope and pray that you come for your Operation Heal 100 Heart session. I hope and pray that you bring Mama Love and Sissy along as well. So we can have our Operation Heal 100 Operation Heal 100 Hearts family session, and maybe mom can have some one-on-one sessions, and maybe you and the sister could just come and have a sister sessions, and we get to rebuild this family. We get to build a better future that looks way different from your past. From what it sounds like, neither one of the men are around to distract that. It's up to you three ladies. So you get to figure out if we want to be family or if we're going to be strangers. Totally up to you and them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs up. Okay? That's how you get me out in the algorithm. That's how you support the channel for free. Also, if you're just breezing by, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. I appreciate all my subscribers. I appreciate all the support, and you enjoy your day.